everyone, my name is Sylvie Kraus and I want to thank you for coming back to watch another Instagram Live with Mental Healthy Fit. Today we're going to be reflecting on the short film called Halloween by filmmaker RJ Walker. RJ is a professional presenter and spoken word artist based in Salt Lake City, Utah. Through the analogy of Halloween, RJ talks about the mask that he feels he wears all the time, which is really meant to hide how he truly feels from those around him. I'm sure that we all experience that from time to time, but in certain cases, it should be an internal red flag to start seeking help. As we're now starting to move into the colder and darker months, depression tends to tick upwards more than it does for the rest of the year, and then commonly subsides a bit in the spring. This can be because of seasonal affective disorder, which affects about 10% of those with major depressive disorder. Seasonal affective disorder, also known as SAD, can alternatively occur during the summer months and subside in the winter, but that's much less common. People talk about both SAD, seasonal affective disorder, and the winter blues. To distinguish those a bit, I'm going to first tell you the symptoms of the winter blues. That can be feelings of sadness during the winter months, lack of motivation to complete some tasks, but still getting done major life requirements, going to work, etc. It can involve trouble sleeping. It can involve spending a couple days in bed. But this can generally be managed with some lifestyle changes, such as keeping active, walking, being outside, so getting as much sunlight as possible, even though the sun might be setting much earlier than usual. There's something called light therapy. You can look up a light box. It's something that you can sit in front of for a few hours. Some find that helpful. You can also try picking up a new hobby, seeing friends. Smaller lifestyle changes such as this can be helpful in ailing some of these winter blues. But I cannot say the same for seasonal affective disorder. Symptoms of that are basically just a little bit more intense than the winter blues. It involves overeating. You might be craving foods with more carbohydrates, weight gain, again, difficulty sleeping, depressed mood most of the day and nearly every day. That's a big sign. Loss of interest in activities that you typically enjoy, withdrawal and isolation from loved ones. It can be an inability to focus and concentrate on work, typical life responsibilities. It can involve lethargy and fatigue, hopelessness, and ultimately suicidal thoughts as well. The biggest difference between the winter blues and SAD is that SAD symptoms interfere with daily functioning. So if that happens to be you, this may be a good time to start seeking help. Treatment, medication can be really, really helpful for depression, including SAD. And I've promoted it before, but just want to say again, psychologytoday.com is a great place to find a therapist or a counselor. You can search through your insurance and many, many other filters. So another way to know if it might be a good time to start seeking therapy or some sort of treatment program is if you do feel like you're wearing a mask a lot of the time to mask how you're really feeling. Really what RJ was talking about in his poem. Wearing a mask typically involves some sense of shame. Shame where somebody doesn't want to show what they're really feeling, who they really feel that they are. And in turn, wearing that mask can also create feelings of shame at the same time by then keeping more to yourself and can lead to an overall worsened mental health state. And more hiding, unfortunately, also can lead to overall dissociation and disconnection with the world and people around us. One way to try to figure out and process how you feel within yourself and how you feel when you act around other people, and whether, you know, the face that is yours is true around other people or whether you are really wearing a mask. There's a great activity typically known as the mask activity. This can be really great to do if you're a teacher with a group of students. It can be great to do at your workplace with colleagues during a team or an all-staff meeting. It can be great to do on your own with friends or with your own kids. It's really just a crafty way to process your current mental state and to assess what steps you might need to take to start feeling better. Because if we don't try to mask our depression, but actually try to really engage with it and seek help, we can really work on breaking down these masks, breaking down mental health stigma, and hopefully start working towards healing. So this mask activity is also actually featured in Mental Healthy Fit's therapeutic art workbook called Make and Create Art for Mental Health. On one of the first pages, there's an activity called Self-Portrait. And it says, draw a portrait of the face you show the world and another of what is going on inside. Is it the same? Do you wear a mask? Represent your true self. So if you are leading this activity with others, you can simply follow these instructions. Or you can hand out a scratch piece of paper to everybody in the room, provide crayons, markers. It can be simple like that. You can also provide magazines for people to create collages. If you have more time and want it to be more involved like that, any way to make it a bit more crafty, especially with students or with younger populations, can be really helpful in helping to process what's really going on and to foster engagement. And honestly, it's true amongst adults as well. I remember the first time that I did this activity as an adult in a workplace, and it was very meaningful. So I'd absolutely encourage it amongst all different types of groups. And you ask people to draw 2 different masks. Are they different? How different are they? And just trying to understand those differences if they exist. Allow everyone to share if they'd like to, but absolutely don't force anybody to share, as I know you wouldn't. So thank you for watching. I hope that this could be an activity that you might be interested in, and if not, just something to think about. As the colder and darker months are coming, I do encourage those lifestyle changes in just trying to see friends more, family more, trying to pique your interests, whether it is winter blues, depression, or any other type of mental health disorder. And I hope that you come back and we see you again next week. Thanks for listening.